Yeah, okay. M15, not a good M, at least for commander. And then Khans of Tarkir. This is going to be another big gold cycle. Yep, just a big gold cycle. Although while we're at it, out of these, it's big Narset and holy. Like, look, you can do some Sidisi, my graveyard is my hand kind of stuff, and you can make a funny little deck out of it. I did. You can play Zergo Helm Smasher and Wrath of God on your own turn, and then Indestructible Swing and get people with Commander Down. You can play Surek Dragonclaw, Temur, good stuff, just random creatures that want haste, whatever. Sorry, trample. And creatures can't be countered, but it's Narset. Honestly, second place is Sidisi, I think, but Narset. All right, everyone. Who wants Decree of Annihilation followed by take 2 extra turns after this one? All right. For the Ascendancies, Jeskai Ascendancy saw the most obnoxious constructed play. Geez, that was a long time to sit through to watch people eventually win with this awful thing. Anyway, it's Tamir Ascendancy. Shit's so good. Same mana cost as Fervor, right? Creatures control haste and draw a card whenever it's awesome. Awesome. As far as the charms, the 3-color charm cycle at instant speed. You have Abzan Charm was great. In Constructed, sometimes you grudgingly played Jeskai Charm. Saltai Charm was great. Destroy a monocolored creature, destroy artifact or enchantment, or draw to discard. Like, all those things are great. XL, creature power 3 or greater is great. Draw 2, lose 2 life is great. Counters is kind of whatever. Anyway, these 2 are the standouts, and the rest not so much. And then the tri-lands that entered the battlefield tapped that people thought about maybe playing for a little while before they eventually replaced them with ones you can fetch for, which fucking blew them out of the water. You love Punching Bear Man, yeah. Ah, yes. Modern Legends, just with actually functional cards and no banding, yeah. And no, 6 mana legendary creatures that tap for 1, you know? Anyway, the big dragons. Yeah, this is just all going to be a bunch of colors that are mixed together, for sure, right? Well, no. We got the Sieges. We got the Siege-as. Yeah, Atarka is peak Timmy. That is true. Anyway, the Sieges. Palace Siege is great for black if you want to recur things back to your hand for some reason instead of on the battlefield. A reasonable commander card, although 5 is a touch much for it. Outpost Siege is good for people who like to exile cards from their library that they might not be able to cast and then they never get them again, which I think is god-awful, but red players, I guess, have to deal with it. You get big mana each one of your main phases. I don't know. These are all I don't know. They're all like Dece. Maybe Outpost Siege is the most played, perhaps. But anyway, they're pretty close. Daghadar, Shuyun, and we're not talking tiny leaders. Tassiger is the winner, and then maybe Alesha. But those are multicolor, so we don't care. Yeah, the lounge with the bananas, dude. There it is. Was that Fate Reforged and now we're on the Dragon? Yeah. He's still going? Yeah, we got to get through all the cycles of Magic. That's what the stream title is. It's Dragon Lord Dramoka. Can't be countered. Flying lifelink. Your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. It has Richard Kane Ferguson alternative artwork. Yeah, you can get the same effect for 2, and you should. But none of these other ones are any good either. Of these commands, it's Coligan's command. Oh, baby. Let me talk about Coligan's command and Snapcaster Mage. Ooh. Ooh. Core memories being unveiled. Damn, that shit was hot. All this other stuff sucks. I mean, not really. Used some of Tarka's commands sometimes and constructed whatever, but that was the hot shit. Not seeing anything super noteworthy besides. Out of all of these, probably Sunscorch Regent is played the most in Commander, but whatever. All right, Modern Masters 2016 edition. Was this before were they printing real cards in these sets yet? Or were they just all reprints? I think they were still all reprints. Magic Origins. Tiny Leaders Alesha was a banger. Yeah, it was. But I think it wasn't even Tiny Leaders Alesha. I think the cool part was when you got to expand it and you started looking at cards and you're like, oh wow, Duplicant has a 2 power. We could use that in here. Like the deck building was fun in Alesha, I think. All right, the cycle of creatures that turn into planeswalkers. Nobody uses any of them. Like maybe Nissa, I guess, or Jace is a flip thing. I don't know. Not excited. Big rare stuff that sucks. Yeah, that's it. Not a lot of Magic Origins cycles happening here. What about BFZ? A little battle for Zendikar. These are the landfall rares, cycle of landfall rare creatures, and none of them are noteworthy at all, but Emiria Shepherd is super good. So that's a white W. Finally, a white W, although it's pretty niche. But at this point, I'm just like giving it to Emiria Shepherd. It infinitely searches every planes out of your deck with Sakura Tribe Elder. You play it, I don't know, you play this in white decks, I think. Do you? Anybody? Anybody ever heard of Emiria Shepherd? Does anyone play white in here? It's better than this crap. And we got the retreat cycle, the enchantments with landfall. These are awesome. And by these are awesome, I mean the next cycle are awesome. This one, Retreat to Korra blows the others out of the water. You may tap or untap target creature when a land enters. Scry 1. If you have a creature that taps to put a land out, you can go infinite with it. It's super. Retreat to Coral Helm is just the one. It's a strong blue dub. Are we doing that? White score is 3, but really it's 1. Azorius is the best I can do. That's technically white. I didn't mean mono white. I just meant white somehow. Sort by teaser. What? Okay, this must be an old weird thing. Oath of the Gatewatch. Okay, this one doesn't have sort by cycle. But I think I can piece it together. Was there a surge cycle? There was an oath cycle, right? Oath. This is a little off, but There was an oath of I don't think any of the oaths are that playable. They were at the time. Nissa, Chandra. Maybe it's just all over the place. What about down here? That's the dual colors. Okay, okay. Ooh, I hope that's what these don't turn into. Nope, okay, it was just that set was super weird. Got it. Commander 2015. Got some 2-color stuff and experience counters. Mizzix is ridiculously annoying. Same with Mirren. Mazarex, this card is super good, or it was back in the day. Oh, the confluences. I forgot. I don't think any of them are playable today. Gun to my head, I guess Mystic Confluence maybe for Boomer Commander. A lot of people played Fiery Confluence because there's nothing better to. Wretched was good. Anyway, these all have choose 3, which is cool. I don't think one's best enough to go for it, though. Honestly, yeah, blue, black, green, I guess, but that's too close to each other. Shadows over Winnistrad. Hey, it's Diagraph Colossus, the zombie giant. He's made out of zombies. Oh, yeah, the vessels turning 2 into 4. Nothing really noteworthy here. I mean, this is where Ulvenwald Hydra comes from. My favorite, one of my favorite creatures. Seasons Past was super sick. Love Seasons Past. Descend Upon the Sinful was like the second exile all creatures they ever made after the one from Kamigawa for 6. Anyway, there were some sick cards there, but all right, Eldoric Muen. 1 cycle, huh? Nope. All right, they didn't want to do cycles in this one, I guess. Oh, there's Oath of Liliana. Okay, it was apparently Eldritch Moon was a cycleless set, or the website doesn't show it. One of the two. A bunch of reprints. Oh, Visara the Dreadful. That was the lady that I was trying to think of. That was the lady I was trying to think of from what, Onslaught, I think. Isn't this the Gladiator cycle? How come the Gladiator cycle wasn't showing up from Onslaught? It was Jareth, Leon and Titan, Arcanus, Visara, the red dude, 6/1 that taps for 3 damage, and then the green dude that turned your lands into creatures, the pit fight. Yeah, the 5 pit fighters. I mean, that would have been Arcanus, so that would have been the blue W if they showed it, or if it was. I think the pit fighters are a decent cycle. Anyway, blue won that one for sure. Can you believe they printed Natural Order and Vampiric Tutor and Balance and Necropotence? And Force of Will. Man, what a set. What a set for money. No, they could not really stop printing new Jaces. Everyone kind of wished they would, but they did not. 2 cycles here. Enters become the monarch cycles. Regal Behemoth is sometimes played. Nothing else is. Is Regal Behemoth important enough, do you think? I mean, it's the clear winner of the you become the monarch creature cycle because it doubles your mana for only 6. But I don't know if it's played enough. I'm going to leave this one to the audience while I click on the next one. Kaladesh. One of the uglier planes they ever went to. 2, I don't know, just didn't much care for the style of it. 2 future stuff. I don't know. There has always been like sci-fi-ish things and future tech-ish in Magic, but for some reason, this was the moment where it was getting a little too digital for me. I don't know. And I hated the masterpieces. We say Avishkar now, don't we? What do you mean? Avishkar? I don't know that. I don't think I'm familiar with that. Is that a set or a plane? Fatcaster Mage Enjoyer? Oh yeah, the Gearhawks. So yet again, they're trying to recreate the Titans here. And this time they succeeded a lot better than Soul of. The Soul of cycle was trash. These Gearhawks are pretty decent. Cataclysmic is not great, but I could see use cases for it in Commander. Torrential Gearhawk made the biggest splash in Constructed because it was a 5/6 flash that let you cast a counterspell for free. So, yes, I would like to Cryptic Command again. Thank you, right? In Commander, I don't think it shows up that much, though. Noxious Gearhawk probably gets played the most. Like, it's a fine enters, destroy. It's technically an artifact. You gain some life with it. It's like maybe the most useful one. Red plays this one a lot, although it's sad that it has to. And Virtuous is awful. I think this one's like a 2.5 way tie. Like, Combustible gets played a decent amount. Noxious gets played a decent amount. And sometimes Torrential. Almost never Cataclysmic, but there are cases for it. And Virtuous is bad. So I don't think there's a clear winner here. Kaladesh was retconned. It's not named Kaladesh. Wait, you don't mean like it... So, not in the story it had its name changed. You mean they, like, the company retconned it. Why? Kaladesh as a plane was renamed in Aether Drift. Oh. I don't know. I thought Kaladesh had a nice ring to it. Reminded me of like a Middle Eastern bazaar, name. Although it had some Indian stuff in it. It's a slur. What? It's a Kaladesh. It's a slur. What do you mean? Am I Googling this right now? Hold up. All right. In a change that solves a problem that was hung over the settings since 2016. Okay, well, I played Magic in 2016. I have never heard of that problem in my life, but it doesn't mean the problem didn't exist. I'm just saying I followed Magic unbelievably close. Okay. The in-universe reasons behind the change were explained later. Yeah, but what was the problem with Kaladesh specifically? Tell me. Okay, there are real world reasons behind this change too, says this article. Okay. While the Kala in Kaladesh was intended to refer to the Sanskrit word for time and art, okay. I keep extending the check the tapes thing, right? Because we're still checking the tapes. Playing up the plane's identity as a city of tomorrow. Yeah, I got that. It unfortunately is more commonly used to mean dark or black. So? And has racist and colorist so that kind of dark or black. This isn't like, ooh, night or shadow. This is that that kind of connotation when applied to a person. Well, it's not being applied to a person, it's being applied to a plane. You know? But okay. It's like changing the name of every Spanish word referencing black because in English, I don't know. Okay. We didn't want the connotation to hang over this plane, even though it has hanged over that plane for 8 years. And so we changed it way, way later. Okay. Okay, so in 2016, they came up with the Indian-inspired setting and accidentally called it the land of N-words in Sanskrit. Okay. And then they just didn't do anything about it forever, and then way later they changed it. Hey, all right. Okay. Poof. All right, we're back. We're back from checking the tapes land. That was an interesting journey I just went on. Whoever said that in chat, good work. That was entertaining. Unfortunately, the term Kala can also be associated with the meaning black and often carries derogatory colorist. Yeah. I just read the website. Yeah. It was only half of the word, and it was a made-up word anyway. I don't know. Like, you were just shitposting that it was a slur. You didn't actually know that it was. Well, yeah. Sometimes there it is. Haven't helped them if they base a setting on Nigeria, yeah, or any Spanish-speaking culture that references the color black, right? But hey, all right. Apparently in the lore, there are people who keep forgetting the name changed, and people correct them. That's funny, because that's how it is in real life, as we just saw. This just happened, this exchange. I will probably never be able to change it, because when I get a word in my head for something, I'm never able to properly switch. Like, I still call shit mortal wounds by accident in Age of Sigmar, even though it's mortal damage, because it's just so, like, unconscious. Yeah, just call it the K-word plane. All right. And then Chorkley coming in here trying to talk about actual magic. I use Torrential Gearhawk to combo with Hullbreaker and Displacer Kit in Commander. Although it's not super good. You've also wanted to use it in bad Pioneer decks. I like Torrential Gearhawk. I have fond memories of casting Torrential Gearhawk and flashing back Cryptic Command for free. And that shit was sick. But it's still a tie. It's still racist to me, damn it. Yeah, okay. I can't believe WotC dropping the hard Ks. You thought they had cultural teams working on these sets nowadays? Well, they did, yeah. In 2016, they gave a whole speech about how they had an entire cultural team and they brought Indians in and all this other stuff. I remember them talking about, now I can't say it. I remember them talking about K-Dash when they were talking about the design of it in 2016. And so that all happened and everyone missed it. India is a big place. They got 1 billion people there. Those experts were racist against their own race. Yeah, true. K Dash, the King of Fighters guy. Yeah, yeah. It's possible that somebody in that team was like, oh well, it could be this, but it's a made up fantasy word and it's only half of it, and who gives a shit? And then 10 years later, people are like, oh fuck, this is huge, and it's like, it's a fantasy made up plain. It's only half of the word. It's only one of the definitions. It's whatever. I guarantee that's how most of this stuff starts, or they just didn't, or they just missed it, or they didn't know. Like, anyway, where were we? Oh yeah, we were in the K Dash on to Aether Revolt. India's a big place. It is a big place. A lot of people in India. Aether Revolt. We got the legendary creature that are inexpensive cycle of whenever you do something else. SRAM is really good and might get the W here. Baral is good in dual commander for a while. Henny is kind of a sack outlet. Kari Zev makes a monkey. Who cares? Rishkar is often used in 1/1 counter decks. Yeah, counter spells you cast cost less, and whenever you counter something, draw a discard. Day 1 ban in Brawl. Yeah, if it was like French or 1v1 Brawl, sure, but I think SRAM just takes it. Drawing a card when you are in an aura deck or an equipment deck or even a vehicle deck, 2 mana, splashable. What a draw engine. I might give white its second W here. Brawl's really good, but only in a very, very specific thing. Almost in a specific format. And SRAM is just, hey, are you doing any one of these things? Draw a million cards. I'm not taking pity on white. I just think SRAM is really good. 4, but really 2. We're starting to see, okay? They're starting to care about white by the time we get to Aether Revolt. Typical the set after Kaladesh, they start giving white creatures bonuses, am I right? And we have the expertises, of which Rishkar's dominates everybody else and is even used. Yep, that's a green W for the cycle of rares that do something good and then let you cast a card that's cheaper for free from your hand, which is awesome. Awesome potential for a set. If only any of them did anything good besides the green one. And to a very lesser degree, maybe the Brawl's like the second best. So green W, just racking them up. Artificer cycle that cares about energy. I sleep. Next. Commander 2016. Oh yeah, the 4 colors. The 4 colors come in here. And one of them is clearly better than the rest of them. Okay? And that one is Yidris, for sure. But the most generically good one, if you're boring, that could go into almost any type of deck and have it be okay, is Atraxa. And so I think Atraxa is the most popular commander in the game, I think. Unless that's changed. Although shout out to my boys Kyanos and Tiro, because they make a great group hug commander. awesome group hug commander. Brea is cool because she goes infinite with everything, and Saskia fucking sucks. But it's non-blue. What do you expect? Brea is 100% better than the others. Are you wrong? No, you're right. I was just getting there in a roundabout way. Idris is the most fun. Atrax is the most generically boring. Kai and T are great for group hug. Brea goes infinite with everything, and so is the best. And Saskia fucking sucks. Also, it's pretty racist of Wizards to make the trans character one the worst. But then again, they made Alesha, and she's really good. So we'll call it even. And they made Alesha before Saskia by a lot. I think Alesha was the first trans character in Wizards lore. I'm not sure, but I think it was, maybe. That got printed on a card anyway. And then we got the two-color guys, of which Thrasios probably wins, although Timn is good and Krom is good. And to a lesser degree, Ravos is kind of fun, and Bruce Taural opens up new colors to other stuff. Saskia trans? Yeah, I thought so. I'm like 80% sure on Saskia, but I'm 100% on Alesha. Who is better and more fun? All right, where was I? Commander 17? No. Commander 16. Modern Masters, these are all reprints, right? My boy, Snappy. Linvala, super good. Liliana the Veil, super good. Not in Commander, but really good in 1v1. All right, moving into Amon Cat. Oof. As Foretold, my boy. Dude, I love As Foretold. All right, and then we got the new gods. Different than the Theros gods, these ones are much worse and less cool. Sadly. Of all of these, the best one is probably... I just think they're all bad in Commander. I just think none of these are any good. And then they got the cycling thing, of which Shafet Monitor maybe is the only thing. Yeah, they all suck. Nope, okay. Amonkhet, not great for cycles. What about Hour of Devastation? What about their monuments? Oh, hold on. I'll go back. I skipped it because I saw colorless, but actually it might be connected to colors, right? So the monuments. Oketra's is bad, and Kefnet's is bad, and Bantu's can go infinite and win you the game, and Hazaret is bad, and Rona's is bad. All right, yeah, Bantu's is the only good one. I don't know if it's good enough to count as a black win, but I think it's the only one that I would really want. Like, I don't care at all if a creature gets big. Rona's the good one? Interesting. I don't see them too much, really, of any sort, I guess. These are the choose a creature type ones. Kindred Discovery, Blast. Dude, Kindred Discovery is so good. Choose a creature type whenever a creature you control enters, draw a card, or attacks. Jesus. Actually, wait, this one is Kindred what? Kindred Dominance or something? It destroy all creatures that aren't of that type. I'm looking at it in, I don't know, Italian or something. It's a really good asymmetric Wrath in a tribal deck. And asymmetric Raz are really sought after. I still think Kinder Discovery is better. Yeah, blue wins, but black is clearly the second best. Blue's going to collect a dub here. I don't know what the white one does because it's in Japanese here. But I'm not familiar with it, and I probably would be if it was better than Kinder Discovery. And then we got the curses, of which they're all bad, and the red one is kind of the best, I guess, but I still don't think it's a good card. The white one gives you indestructible counters for mana. Okay. All right. It's like a reasonable effect. Indestructible counters are kind of nice. And now Commander 17. Wait, that was Commander 17. Now, Iconic Masters. These are all reprints. Do Channel. Hell yeah. Thunderbolt Hellkite. Mana Drain. Good set. Good set. All right, Ixalan. Ixaland. Only one, apparently, which is a legendary enchantment cycle that harkens back, I think, the older cards, because this one is Gaia's Cradle, right? It flips into Gaia's Cradle, I think. If it's the one I'm thinking of. Legion's Landing got played a little bit in Constructed. Search for Azcanta got played a lot in Constructed. Vance's Blasting Cannons did not. In Commander, probably Growing Rights, but Search is maybe second. I don't know that any of them are like that good. If somebody wants to fight for it, okay. But yeah, I think it's Growing Rights maybe. But Search is pretty good too. They might be tied. You're just going to hit so much less once you flip it in a Commander deck versus a Constructed one. All right, Rivals of Ixalan, the Elder Dinosaur cycle. Yeah, Legion's Landing was part of the infamous Settle the Wreckage bluff, the big one. Zatalpa, Primal Dawn, the card that's been reprinted 47 times despite being terrible. I'm mad. Nezahal. Actually just a great creature. Played in a lot of blue decks. Can't be countered, no max hand size. You draw cards whenever your opponent casts non-creature spells. You can return it to your hand if you want. Nezahal is just, it's everything. Just a generically amazing big thing. Tetsumak is a cool idea, but it isn't. It's probably a slightly different sentence away from being good, but it's not. Itali is like okay. If you have haste, if you don't, then it's awful. One of the most overrated creatures ever. And then Galta. I mean, it doesn't even have like trample or anything. It's not even a 13/7 for 6. Like, what are we doing here? And then Galta's a 12/12 trample for 2 in a Timmy deck. This is a closer cycle, right? Itali, you know, people like Itali, and Galta is funny. You paid 2 for a 12/12, but I think Nezahal takes this one to the bank. Second place Galta, third place Itali. Maybe second place Itali, whatever, but blue takes the W here for sure. Has HeyWoah ever said what his favorite MTG format is? Would he if I said Pretty Please? Yeah. Actually, I would, but I would prefer you not say Pretty Please. My favorite format was Legacy, for sure. Now I'm retired and I only play Commander, and so I like Commander. So that's probably that. Favorite format was Legacy, but now I don't go to tournaments, and so I play Commander, and so I like Commander. Oh yeah, Unstable only had these, which are worse than the John Avon ones. Fucking joke sets, I tell you what. We had reprints for Masters 25. Just a bunch of reprints. And then Core 19. What if I click the button again? No? Okay. Well, we do have some sort of cycle here, even though it's not organized by cycle. I don't think any of these are meaningfully good. Vivian is maybe the best. A mare cycle of stuff no one plays. Nexus of Faith. Okay. Yeah, just a bunch of reprints. Okay. Battle Bond. This is a bunch of cycles too, or this is a bunch of reprints too, right? Yeah. All right, finally we get a real set here. Dominaria. We're going back. We're going back to our roots. Dominaria. But first, I'm going back to the fridge to get a drink so I can stay hydrated. Hey, be right back. Please enjoy. I'll be right back. Yo. Okay, I thought about it, and you know what? Growing rights being a second cradle is a big deal. And you might not have the first, because it's like $1,000. So, green W. You might not have the first one. What are you going to play? Druid of the... What is it? Druid of the Cradle? I suppose you could. Anyway, Dominaria. Urza's Ruinous Blast. So these are the legendary sorcery cycles, which I don't like because they require your commander to be out to even try to cast them. I do like the ones for free that they made, but I don't like the ones that cost mana and don't protect your commander. Yeah, Circle of Dreams Druid, that's the one. No Cradle? Okay, brokies. Yeah, yeah. Urza's Ruinous Blast is played in Legend Tribal for sure. Costs 5, which is a good mana cost. Taking an extra turn after this one is pretty good. Vile Offering is kind of value, I suppose. Druidic Vow is less good. Jai's Immolating Inferno is awful, but it's sadly one of the better win cons for Nahab because so many X spells are terrible in this game. I don't know. I don't know that I want to give it to anybody here. You got the cycle of triple color. Triple color dudes. Goblin Chain Whirler was a monster in Type 2, that's for sure. Actually, same with Tempest Gin. I won a lot of games with Tempest Gin. A lot of tempo. Banish Marshall, but none of these guys are really commander focused. You know, pure mono white, maybe you might play Marshall in a Knights deck, I think. But hey, whatever, and then all these lands suck. Dominaria, not a lot of cycles. Although Lyra Dawnbringer, oof. Nice angel creature. Good creature for angel tribal. Ultimate Masters had a bunch of reprints. Guilds of Ravnica. probably a lot of multicolor stuff. Yep. A lot of multicolor stuff. We're having to go. Legions, a lot of multicolor stuff. Even the cycles. Cool looking lands, though. War of the Spork. Alright, we're getting some cycles back in this. Well, monocolor cycles. New Planeswalkers. Everybody loves these, right? The 17th Jace. I love it. So, Jace is kind of a win con for drawing your whole library. But Labman is better and requires less blue pips. And it's Liliana, Dreadhorde General. The most generic value, black value that you could value. Simply goes in like everything. Super powerful, draw a bunch of cards, have people sack stuff. The win con actually just wins against all of your opponents instead of just one like the other Liliana. Nissa is very good in a deck that has essentially only forests. So that's rare. But she is very good and fits in there pretty well. She was better in Constructed for sure than Commander. But she does get the nod. Chandra's just terrible. Man, the red one, always. Even Gideon did stuff in Constructed as well. But this, in Commander, this is a black dub. Next. Modern Horizons. Oh, the Force of cycle. These are these are aggressive counters and not protective stuff. We got Force of Negation. Really good. Not good defensively. You're not going to defensively protect your own stuff, but it's good offensively. Kind of a staple of CEDH, right? Just really good. Destroy all creatures that enter the battlefield this turn is an underrated effect in Commander. Force of Rage, no one has read this, not even red players. Force of Vigor is also a staple, and also a staple in CEDH for sure. Being able to, for free, destroy 2 artifacts or enchantments is massive. It's 2 cards for 2. This might be a tie between Negation and Vigor. Negation, I think, really wants a very controlling kind of deck to play it in, and not one that's trying to protect its own stuff. Force of Vigor kind of goes in everything. Am I being silly by not just saying Force of Negation? What do you think? I think it's kind of close. Are we reminiscing back to when Magic wasn't IP slop? Yeah, it's my normal state of being, yeah. I'm very sad about that, but there's nothing I can do about it. Besides bitch about it all the time, and so I will. Okay, Force of Vigor, you are really good, but I got to give it to Negation. Sorry. Blue takes another W here, tying it between blue and green for the winner of the cycles. It is a little bit close, I think. It was almost a tie for me. And you got these slivers and then some talismans. Oh, and they completed the cycle of Horizon Canopy, finally, after 10 years. Hey, they printed Urza. Love that guy. That guy's fun. I like him. Yawgmoth Thran Physician. That guy's great. This guy was terrifying in Constructed, but he's still very playable in Commander, I would say. Next. 2020. Once again, trying to trying to get the Titan cycle back and working. They never really did. They never really hit it like that original one, you know. But now we got the Cavaliers, the Elemental Knights in Mythic. They're all triple color, which makes them hard to play. And they all do something when they enter, and they all do something when they die, which is kind of like doing something when they enter or attack. Cavalier of Dawn is actually really good. It Beast Withins when it enters, which is excellent. It's any permanent, non-land permanent, which is super good. You get to return an artifact or enchantment when it dies. So Cavalier of Dawn is super good. This one brainstorms and then scries. I don't know that I've ever seen anyone play it. Nobody's playing any of these other ones. I don't think many people play Cavalier of Dawn either. This one, so Cavalier of Thorns gives you a land and then spills the rest into your graveyard if you're in some kind of a green-black thing. And when it dies, you can exile it and essentially regrowth something, except on top of your library instead, which is not something I want. I would rather have it back in hand. But if you're in a mill yourself deck for value, maybe you want it on the top. I don't like exiling it because I want to reuse everything if I'm in that kind of deck. Having reach is kind of nice. You're probably going to have sack outlets. I don't know. You know, if you're trying to put 4 cards in your graveyard, you might as well have a 5-6 reach, I suppose, right? I bet Cavalier of Thorns is the most played out of all these, if I was a gambling man. But I think it's a tie between Thorns and Dawn. And I think Dawn is considerably better, but maybe that's just my opinion. So unfortunately, White has a W stolen because it's probably a tie. And in the legendary creature cycle of rares, we have Some Fucking Shit and then Villas. Black W. Holy. Flying 8/8 for 8. Black, pay 2 life, target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Whenever you lose life, draw them any cards. So for 1 black, you draw 2 cards. Okay. This is almost worth 2, but we're just gonna do 1. Jesus. Villas. Unbelievably strong. You love to see it. Oh yeah, I guess there are these guys and they all suck. That's about it. Broken of Blood, yeah. And cool. I like the art too. Good art. Nice art. Who did that? Tyler Taco Bow or something. I can't read it. It's too small. Anyway, good work. Oh, yeah. Hey, good point. This is a reprint, though. Otherwise, yeah. Veil of Summer is a reprint for this cycle. But yeah, I bet almost no one knows that Veil of Summer was even part of a cycle. Such was its dominance in there. Was it part of a cycle originally, or... Wait, Veil of Summer... Maybe it's not a reprint. Was M20 the first one? Dude, it might have been. It is. Okay. Yeah. Fry, Devout Decree. All right. Veil of Summer. Embarrassing. I was thinking Autumn's Veil. I was. All right. Yep. Big dub. And then looking at these, we got Yuruk, great. Omnath, Locus of the Royal, great. Kai Kar, kind of cool. Kethis, and Kalia, Zenith Seeker, ugh. It's so sad. I like Kalia, but I like Kalia. I like the mana cost. I like Flying Vigilance 3/3. And then this whole paragraph is just butt. It's butt. Very sad. Throne of Eldraine. We get adventures now. We're moving into adventures. And so we got the legendary cycle of Brazen Borrower, who probably wins here. Ooh, Questing Beast. Hold on. Brazen Borrower is probably better in Constructed than it is in Commander. But I really like this card. Questing Beast, honestly, maybe same thing. Questing Beast is funny in a fog deck because you can fog during combat and you always win because combat damage isn't prevented. And everyone always forgets all of the things Questing Beast does. But in Commander, I don't see people using Questing Beast like that much in Commander, right? What I like about Questing Beast is you can put it in a random green deck and then you can still kill Teferi's protection players. Because damage can't be prevented anymore. And so you just kill them. And I hate Teferi's protection. Because it's too easy, it does everything, right? It protects you against like virtually everything you could possibly ever want. It's even phase out, so it gets around exiles and stuff. I think Questing Beast is going to win this one. If it was constructed, who knows? But yeah, I think we're getting a green here. Anything that kills fucking cowardly Teferi's protection cowards, you know? Just kill them. And now we got the legendary artifact that costs a lot, but it costs less per thing you have. We have Circle of Loyalty, which sucks, and Magic Mirror, which sucks, and Cauldron of Eternity, which sounds good until you read the whole thing, and then you're like, no, actually it sucks. And then we have Embercleave, which was a big deal in Constructed. Huge, like Embercleave, people were getting they asses Embercleaved left, right, and center. But in Commander, it's the Great Hengi, and it ain't close. 2 mana, gain life, draw a card, 1/1 counters. It does fucking everything. It's the Hengi, green W, and a strong W at that. And then we got the triple of a color cycle of legendary creatures. Of which, out of all these, HeyWoah, probably. Mrs. Aristocrats, draw a card thing. Maybe Torbran. But, I don't know, not strong enough. Maybe a tie. I bet there's more Torbrans than HeyWoahs. But hey, at least Linden sucks and at least Yorvo sucks, right? And then we got legendary uncommons, of which Sir Conrad is the only thing played out of any of these. I don't know if he made a big enough splash. Is Sir Conrad as a commander or just randomly thrown into a deck? Does that thing like happen enough for this cycle to matter? I mean, it's him. It's certainly not any of these other ones. And then there's multicolor stuff. It's a win con. Do you think it counts? Sir Conrad? Pretty popular? All right. I'll give the black W. I know he is played. Oh yeah, these. They enter untapped as long as you control a land of that color. Or type, I should say. And the white one makes a 1/1 white human creature token, which sucks. And the blue one scries 2, which is okay. And it's kind of free as an inclusion. And then there's the draw a card and then lose a million life one, which sucks. And then there's the creatures you get 1/0, which sucks. And then there's, long story short, if you're casting a creature, Castle Garen Brig taps for 2, kinda. Because it turns 5 into 6, which is okay. Like, these are all just okay. Castle Garen Big. I think like Vantress and Garen Big are tied. I think Big is an easier auto include than Castle. I don't think it's enough to matter. And then we got these, which Mystic Sanctuary soundly robs the other 4 of anything. In Commander, I don't see Mystic Sanctuary. You don't think it's a tie? You think Torbran huge victory? I could listen to that argument. I said it was a tie, so I didn't give any points out. I bet Torbran's more played. I'm losing track of where I used to be. Throne of Eldraine. Okay. Theros Beyond Death. Oh, this is when we get sagas. Another mistake. I'm just kidding. Sagas are fine. All right. Theros Beyond Death, the second string. The second string of Gawads. First we get Helion, the Infinite combo crowned. So this guy infinites with any of the Walking Ballista type, what's that creature from Antiquities, Triskelion, that kind of stuff. So yeah, he's great because he's part of a 2-card infinite combo. Then there's Thassa Deep Dwelling, which is the best flicker card in the game if you want recursive clicker. Or I mean, if you want repeating flickers. Because it costs the same, it's the cheapest one tied. It's indestructible, it's not a creature, it always works, and you can tap target creatures. It's so good. Thassa is so good. And then Erebos sucks, and Perforos sucks. And Nylea is a good source of your creatures cost 1 less to cast, and you can churn through your library to find stuff. Also fill up your graveyard. It is a touch pricey, but it's still pretty good. I don't know, I wonder about this. Heliod is the most powerful in a sense, because he's part of a 2-card infinite, and he's the cheapest. Thassa is a monster of power. And then Nylea's alright / good. And then the other 2 are bad. Is this a tie, or are we just giving it to white? This is actually kind of fighting. This is like 2 different types of commander fighting against each other. It's like, what do you like? You know? Yeah, Perforos is doing the it's all Jeb pose, which is funny to me. Thassa is the best if you're a battle cruiser value player who likes mid-range or longer games. And Heliod is the best if you want to fucking win, right? Yeah, you know what? Heliod, Sun-Crowned. Let's give white its fucking 5th win. But really 3. Maybe Thassa's getting into my pet card stuff a little too much. But but I like Thassa a lot. She's really strong. Then we got the intervention cycle, which is X spells with choose one of two different things. And typically they double with the second one. Like they're all double things. So Heliod's intervention is kind of, it's like almost a staple in white decks. Destroy X target artifacts and or enchantments is awesome. Hit multiple things. It's an instant. Target player gains twice X life, which is less important, but sometimes it can save you. Or if you're in a life gain deck, Heliod's intervention is a great card. Really good card, despite being an X spell. X spells usually suck, but Heliod's is a good one. Thassa's intervention is good too. Counter target spell unless opponent pays twice X. That's potentially all right. Not a good rate for sure. But you can look at the top X cards of your library and put two of them in your hand, which is really good for digging for 2-card combos. So Thassa's intervention is essentially you find a good place to tap out and then find your 2-card win con with. And in a pinch, you can sometimes counter a spell. So it's still pretty good as well. These are both very good. And then Erebos's intervention kills a creature if you have 1,000,000 mana, and then you gain life, or you can exile cards from graveyards. It's like okay, kinda. And then Perforos's intervention is awful. And then Nylea's intervention lets you tutor up all of your land combos and put them in your hand. And sometimes you can kill flyers with it. It's okay. In a deck that wants to play extra lands per turn, Nylea's intervention is pretty strong. I'm considering this one This is a three-way tie. Heliod's is great. Thassa's is great. Nylea's is good. Erebos's is maybe kind of okay. And Perforos is bad. So, and now we got the legendary enchantment creatures that care about devotion, and they're bad. Next. We got our first sagas. I don't think anybody plays any of these anymore, but Elspeth Conquers Death is pretty good. I fondly recall it from Constructed. Exiling a permanent is good. Non-creature spells your opponents cast on your turn is good for the next one. And reanimating something from your graveyard is pretty good. But 5 sorcery speed. I feel like unless you're a saga deck, you're not playing it. Cure is big funny, but it's also big expensive, and so yeah, I don't think anyone's doing that. Elspeth Nightmare is better than people give it credit for, but meh, I don't know. I don't think these are like played enough or good enough. Besides a saga deck that just puts every remotely playable saga in, just to have sagas. The Omens, nobody plays them, but Omen of the Sea is the best one. Oh, interesting. The enchantment creature Nymph cycle. All Seed of Life's Bounty is good for being like a Mother of Runes effect, although it's only once. It's only one time. I would prefer Mother of Runes mostly, but this is for like a recursion kind of deck that's going to play stuff over and over, so it's all right. The others are not noteworthy, and then there's Dryad of the Elysian Grove. Any Valakut enjoyers in chat? This one is the Dryad. Naked Man in Tree, and it's basically not close at all. Green W. And then there's creatures with no abilities. And human soldiers that no one cares about. Hey, all right. Valakut, that's right. So that was Theros Beyond Death. Now we get to Ikiora, Land of Bigs, right? This is when they did the Godzilla tie-in cards that were dumb, and I didn't like it because it was some other IP. And Back then when they first introduced those things, all the players hated them, but the players who liked that thing bought them, and so that was the end. It doesn't matter that everyone hates them, as long as the single audience that likes that IP buys it. It means it was going to happen forever, and there was nothing anyone could do about it. So sad. I hate mutate so much. I hate this mechanic. But hey, all right, it's going to be a bunch of multicolor things. As far as these people here, Winota is really strong. Probably the best red-white, like strength-wise. But Kinnan is ridiculous, and so Kinnan wins this one. We got the new ultimatums here. Genesis is good. Ruinous is really like the destroy all non-land permanents your opponents control is so much better than the Jund one, which is destroy 3 target permanents. Jesus. The power creep. Eerie Ultimatum is great. Return everything from your graveyard. Emergent Ultimatum is great. Show your opponent 3 cards. They let you keep 2 of them, and you infinite with those 2. Even Inspired is decent. Like these are all like great. The best one's probably Emergent. Oh yeah, we got these. Whirlwind of Thoughts, cool. Song of Creation is cool. Even Titan's Nest is kind of neat in a... what's that old card you can exile card? I don't know. Mike Long won with it. I can't remember what it was called. Prosperous Bloom or something like that. Yeah, Winota brought power to Boros to the point that people actually feared her. Yeah, that's correct. That's how strong Winota is. And yet Kinnan is stupid. Kinnan is stupid. Simic, am I right? Jesus. Companion was an excellently designed mechanic that was well play tested and balanced. Good meme. Yeah. Companion was a mistake. And yet here it is. Hey, Lutri, it's banned in everything. Lures is pretty good. Zur is pretty good. Yeah, all these are, yep. Great work there. People like Commander. What if we made constructed like Commander? Well, be careful what you wish for, I guess. They took a mechanic that used to be 100% free and made it cost 3, and it's still, one of the cards is still banned. Okay. Oh yeah, it's not to the level of Arcane Signet, right? Because that's always good for a laugh. Arcane Signet was a mistake. Look at this chart. People are playing it in most decks. Yeah. And it's a mono rock for 2. Who gives a shit? Anyway, we got the flip lands that you pay 3 life to make them untapped on the other side. They're mythics. They have good spells on the front of them. These are all great-ish, depending on the format. But Seagate Restoration stands proud and tall, head and shoulders above the rest. It's a blue W. Interesting that the inscription cycle wasn't complete. There's no white or red one. Now, usually there isn't anyway. Am I right, gamers? There usually isn't a white or red one anyway, but they didn't even print one. Interesting. I thought they did. Anyway, now we got these guys, the rare cycle of lands. These do enter tapped, unlike the mythics that don't, if you pay 3 life. Onto Inversion is seen. I've seen it play. It sees play. Glasspool Mimic sees a lot of play. but it's Valakut Awakening that is the clear best one for sure among all these. And so red collects another rare W, up to 11, but really 10. Man, the fact that you can choose all of them, you don't discard them, you put them on the bottom of your library, and you draw that many cards +1, so you're even. Super. Also an instant, it could have been a sorcery. So good. And then we got the little guys, which none of them were worth playing. And then we got these, which are part of a cycle that isn't complete, that are also bad. When you played professionally, what colors did you play the most? Did you have a preference? My preference was to win, no matter what. And so I would either play the best deck, or the deck that beat the best deck, or the deck that beat the deck that beat the best deck, or so on and so forth, right? Like, I like combo, I like control, I like tempo. Not like a huge aggro player, but I played a lot of I played a lot of like Zoo. I played a lot of I played some Burn. I played a bunch of Red in new formats before anybody knew what was good yet. Yeah, I kind of played all that stuff. I played Counterbalance Top, Miracles, 43 Lands one time. I played Cloud Post a few times even. Mono Red Burn sometimes, Naya Zoo. Yeah, in Modern I would play Splinter Twin, but I also played Tron. And yeah, I just kind of like, I would play whatever. I have like pet cards and interactions and stuff like that, but I usually didn't let my I like playing this get in the way of playing the best thing. Unsanctioned, ugh, gross crap. All right, Jumpstart. There were new cards in Jumpstart, right? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. And then Dopal Masters, all reprints. Corset 21. Yeah, sorry for the unsatisfying answer, Fossil Painting. I think if left to my own devices, my preference would probably be either the type of deck that was playing in a format differently than everyone else was playing. I liked that idea. Like, okay, this format is playing these kind of decks in this kind of way, and I'm playing in a different lane. I liked doing that. So whatever type of deck that was, like Tron in Modern very early on was one of those things, or everyone's trying to do this, and then you just play hyper aggro, and everyone's like dirtling around trying to one up each other with counter interactions and setting something up, and you just fucking kill them. Like you're trying to assemble a castle. Well, what if I just reduce your life to 0 immediately? Like really consistently. I mostly didn't like playing things that were random or inconsistent, but that's like every competitive player, so. Most often, to be honest, that caused me to either be playing combo or aggro. But every once in a while, I got to play control and I enjoyed it. Control is very fun as well. You were a big aggro player, and then mid-range, when that was bad, yeah. Mid-range is fun, too. Just the grinding them out with superior value cards. Everything's a 2-for-1. Like ogres operating on a different axis in AOS? Sorta, yeah. They're at least when I picked them up, they were basically the only army that played in the charge phase. They had really good shooting that could pinpoint remove opponent linchpins that they built a house of cards on top of foolishly without doubling up on their useful parts. So you could kind of take apart people's castles a little bit, and then you played in the charge phase. And so a lot of stuff only worked in the combat phase, or they had really good armor or this and that, but we were working in, well, I just do a bunch of mortals in this phase that's weird. And sometimes you can get them, and so that's kind of probably what I glommed onto for ogres a little bit. The Muxus. Arabian Nights is better than Ice Age, is better than the Dark, is better than Fallen Empires, is better than the rest. Fallen Empires had Hymn to Turok, right? Or am I thinking of alliances? I might be mixing these up. Fallen Empires had Hymn to Turok, so it's better. Ice Age sucked, except for Necropotence. The Dark had Maze of Ith and Blood Moon, and Tormod's Crypt, and Uncle Eastvan. So the Dark is higher than Ice Age. And Arabian Nights had mostly trash cards. Nope, Him is Empires? Okay, then we're good. Arabian Nights was good flavor, but mostly completely awful cards. Out of all of those sets you listed, Ice Age is the worst, in my opinion. Oh, yeah, Preacher. Your opponent chooses a creature you get to take control of. Yeah. Ice Age gave us Brainstorm. It did, but it never got good art until Mercadian Masks when Tony Dieter Lizzie tried his hand at it. So we'll call it a moral victory. Nice guy. I met him at Gen Con a few years. Got him to sign some stuff. Yeah, Ice Cauldron, yeah. Anyway, where were we? M21. A new spat of planeswalkers that are all terrible, and then Teferi, who's amazing, and wins this one handily. This guy, even in Commander, he's good. Blue Dub. This fucking dude. Season of the Witch is a cool card. In conclusion, the Dark is great. Yeah. And Lake of the Dad, even though that card sucks. Oh yeah, this is just colors. I want cycles, please. Please. Oh, it's mislabeled. Okay. It says colors at the top, but the cycles are up there. Legendary, well, and then also a mythic. I don't know if it is sorting this right. Anyway, a legendary creature cycle, one of which is a mythic, the others are rares. From the stories. Of them, Magar, the Diplomat, is probably the best. Jolrin's alright. Carifex suddenly became good when they printed Maha. I don't think any of these are worth talking about. Maybe Mangara. As far as the shrines, you basically just put them all in a shrine deck, right? Kind of who cares. Sanctum is your win con half the time. Bunch of temples. Bunch of lands that enter tapped for some reason. I don't know. What even is this cycle? Rares? Nothing about them is... They don't do anything similar to each other. Is this even a cycle? I liked Kaldheim. I thought the funny extra art was cool for it. Teferi's Ageless Insight and Garruk's Uprising are great, but not really. Yeah, I don't. All the cards are completely different. I don't know. I don't get it. So, we got the flip legendary gods of Kaldheim. I mean, one of these is a 5-color commander that people play. And this is like maybe used sometimes in equipment decks, although I don't think it really should be. And this thing was a thing for a little while before I think maybe a rule changed or something. But it's not green, it's 5-color. So we'll call this thing a wash up here. And then mythics that have foretell, that's the cycle here. And we got take an extra turn and then some other shit. Alrune's Epiphany collects a W. Although, does anyone actually play this thing? I know some red players play Quakebringer because the name is cool and the art is cool, but the card isn't. And Battle Mammoth is funny. But it's not particularly great, it's just funny and it looks cool. I don't know how many people play Alrune's Epiphany, but it shits on the others in the cycle. And it's good. And I fondly recall casting it in Constructed. Yeah, I don't know, maybe not. Oh, the snow cycle of rares. Okay. Search for Glory is great. Search your library for a snow permanent, a legendary, or a saga. And then you gain a life for each snow spent to cast a spell. That doesn't matter at all. At all. Okay, a 3-mana sorcery in white that searches for a snow permanent, a legend, or a saga is actually really good. This goes in every Legends Matter deck ever. Search for Glory is really good. Also note, it's not a legendary creature, it's a legendary card, so you can get legendary lands with it. You can get your guy's Cradle or whatever. Graven Lore is trash. You like Battle Mammoth in a budget green deck to get a Leovold style effect, but it's not amazing. That's exactly how I feel. He's not like great, but he can possibly draw you cards and he's funny. So like, all right. Blood on the Snow is really good in mono black. Mono black snow covered. If you're playing mono black, the existence of Blood on the Snow is basically worth you playing all snow covered swamps, because this card is so good with it. Destroy all creatures or all planeswalkers. You choose creatures. And then you return a creature or planeswalker card to convert mana cost 6 or less from your graveyard. And so you blow up everybody's creatures and get yours back, which is slightly asymmetrical. But if you're playing like Zhao Dun the One-Eyed, which I am, then you Wrath of God the board, get Zhao Dun back, sacrifice him, and put Blood on the Snow back in your hand. So you can Wrath every turn. It's super good. And the other two are fucking bad. So Search for Glory is very good, and Blood on the Snow is very good, but very specific. Probably a tie. Maybe Search for Glory wins. I'm not sure, but I think it's a tie. And then we have the Pathway cycle. Dual mana lands that do stuff, and then some more snow-covered things, all right? Also, yeah, Cardor is a Chad, for sure. Love him. Cardor is awesome. Out of these, Vega is really good in certain decks. Cardor is just, this dude is sweet. It's a pity they didn't have Goad quite codified by the time they wrote him, which actually is a big shame. I kind of wish he would get oracled to count as Goad just so he would interact with more things. But I love slamming the car door. That guy is great. He's like a Wrath of God, kinda, but it's funnier. Anyway, good work. I'm losing track of where I am. Strixhaven. Oh yeah, this is the Hogwarts set that I hated because I don't like Harry Potter. And so this set fucking sucked. But they were trying to grab their younger audience with it, so out of these, Bellatrix Witherbloom dominates. That's for sure. All these guys are 2 colors, so they don't count. All these guys are 2 colors, so they don't count. Yeah, a bunch of gold cards, and all right, we got something masteries, and all those are bad. Yeah, that's it. Okay, a big multicolor set, basically. Time Spiral Remastered. This set was great because it gave us old borders for new cards, because the old borders look better. Including banned cards like Primetime. Anyway, you love to see it. I loved to see it. Ooh, Mirror Entity. That guy's great. Midnight Hunt. Another Innistrad. Doesn't Maja go infinite, or am I thinking of the Theros chick? I don't know. I don't know what Maja does, actually. Can't remember. Mythic, when they enter, you can pay a bunch of extra mana to do stuff, which no one wants to do, so those are all bad. Bunch of 2-color stuff. I kind of like Sticky Fingers, the SSDs. Catilda is just fun to say. Crimson Vow. Mythic cycle of creatures that I don't know what they have to do with each other. When they enter or attack, exile a card from a graveyard. That's what they have to do with each other. And then they also do something else. But they don't really, because no one plays any of them. Then we have the Cleave cards, which I never really liked. Cleave is like a robotic sort of computer program way of reading text on cards that I don't care for. Ends up being less legible than I think it otherwise should have been. Or could have been, even. Modern Horizons 2. It's time for Modern to start rotating. With the Incarnation cycle, these are free and you can evoke them by exiling a card of that color from your hand. They didn't think this through. It was too good as a mechanic, basically. In small card pool constructed formats, Fury dominated and pushed out all creatures. And in big card pool formats, Grief dominated and allowed combo to kind of fuck with everyone. And in Commander, you don't play either of those two. You play Solitude sometimes and Endurance always in a green deck. Like, you start building a green deck and you put in Eternal Witness and Endurance. Like, those are like the first 2 cards you add. And Subtlety fucking sucks. And so Solitude is very good. It has Flash. It's a Swords to Plowshares with legs. It can be free, although you don't really want to be doing that in a white deck usually. Yeah, super good. However, endurance is just a little bit better because it's a reach creature. You can shuffle stuff back into your library to tutor for again. You can use it in response to screw over graveyard decks. And it sees more inclusion probably. I might give the edge to endurance here. It's either a tie or a win for green. I'm going to put it... Is this a win for green or is it a tie? I guess. I'll open up the floor. Have you reviewed 2022 yet? I have not. We're going in chronological order. And so we're up to Modern Horizons 2. I'm going to call it a tie, actually. These are both really good. I would play Endurance quicker than I would play Solitude, I think. But they're both really close to being. I think Endurance is an auto-include and Solitude might not be. That's the only difference, I guess, but maybe that's too close. And then we got the free spells that technically have Suspend, but really you cascade into them. And so the best one is Gaia's Will, because it wins the game right away. In Constructed, less so in Commander. Inevitable Betrayal is just generically great, because it's bribery. Profane Tutor might be the best one in Commander, because I've seen people actually suspend it. Like, if you're playing budget and you can't afford a Demonic Tutor, I think you just play Profane Tutor as an actual suspend fair and square card. This might go to Profane Tutor. You got to be doing something very special for Gaia's Will to work out. The red one, of course, sucks. Yeah, I think this might be a black W for Profane Tutor, and the more I think about it in Commander, I think Endurance takes the lead. Green dub, black dub. And then we got the Converge for each color of mana spent, and nobody plays any of those. And then the basic land cycling ones that you have to pay 2 for. We don't want to do that. Talk to me again when we get to the Hobbit set, when you only pay a colorless for that. And then sometimes they're worth. Particularly the blue one. Because the actual spell half of it has potentially a use, unlike all the others. Alright, that was Modern Horizons 2. Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. Now, for whatever reason, this set had a whole bunch of futuristic looking shit in it as well. The same as Kaladesh, or whatever the fuck I'm supposed to call it now that I can't remember the word. Akadar, something. Anyway, I thought Aladar was ugly as fuck. And I thought Kamigawa was fucking awesome. But maybe that's because I like cyberpunk. So, I mean, there it is. They're both like probably too futuristic for Magic, but I find this one to be more palatable. It's literally the place, comma, Japan meme, probably. But I don't like filigree, spindly gear stuff. I don't like any of that. Give me neon lights and cyberpunk any day. In Japanese. Alright, we got the Dragon Cycle. And this shit sucks, but these three, hold up. The red one's kind of good for a red card. The green one is great. Flying Death Touch in green, it's hard to find. Nice cost. Search your library for up to 3 land cards, reveal them, and then probably play all of them with all your explorations and stuff. You get all your power lands. Later on, when you start looping it, you can make gigantic spirit creatures that scale with your number of lands. Kuda is super good. However, I think I have to give it to Junji, the Midnight Sky. Each opponent discards 2 cards and loses 2 life. Every opponent discarding 2 cards on loop is so good. And reanimating something for 2 each time is super good as well. Menace is a lot worse than Death Touch, sure. But Junji takes the cake. It's kind of close maybe, but Junji wins easy. And then these 2 fucking suck. All right, Black W. AO by a mile? Is that a meme? Put counters on a creature or vehicle if it dies. Or, with the top 7 cards of the library, put any number of non-land permanents with a total mana value of 4 onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Okay. So you get a land, and then I guess if you're in a stacks deck, you put out like a, I don't know, a Spirit of the Lab and a Gaddock Tea or something, but yeah. I don't know. Unless your deck is absolutely, like you have 20 creatures for 1 and 2, I don't know. These changed the game, these lands. They changed the game. Not you. Not you. Definitely not you. Definitely the worst one is the red one. Boseiju, who destroys artifacts, enchantments, or non-basic land without being a spell. Absurdly strong. Changes everything. Constructed, changed it. Commander, changed it. You can get out of stasis lock. Anyway, Boseiju who endures. That's it. Otawara bounces something. Bouncing something is way worse than destroying it. And this is way cheaper than this one. The only reason Otawara is in the conversation is because technically it's blue. And so more, it's more of a CDH thing. So yeah, Otawara is really good, but it's Boseiju for sure. Green W, easy. Sadly not. AO won a CEDH tournament because of its stacks builds. That's sad to hear. But it's only because I don't like stacks. But I don't think anybody likes stacks, basically. Anyway, I'm sad to hear that that's good. But for all of Commander, it's still for sure Junji. I think. We have the Invoke cycle. These are all bad. The March cycle. These are fun. This cycle you can as an additional cost you can exile stuff to make it cheaper but not free. And this one exiles artifact, creature, or enchantment, mana value X or less. That's good. It kind of sucks because it's an X spell and you have to actually pay what they paid to get rid of it, which is bad. But it's still an instant. You can make it cheaper. It targets anything, almost. It's decent. These 3 are horrible, and then March of Swirling Mists is a really good protection spell in response, giving your guys phase out. Super good for a lot of different types of decks trying to protect their commander or a Voltron thing. And due to the way phasing out works, if you phase out a creature, all of the equipment or auras on it phase out as well. So you only need to have one target with it. March wins, but, Swirling Mists wins, but Otherworldly is pretty close. Blue dub. 18, but really 17. We got the Go Shintais. These are shrines with really excellent art. Like, here, let me zoom in. Behold the art on these. Look at the blue one. Like, you would see this in Death Stranding. Look at the black one. I love it. Not You know, the white one's okay. The green one sucks. But yeah, really big fan of the art. Johannes Voss did all of these. Great work. And then the cool lands, of which the black one that looks like a red one is for sure the best in my IMO. And that was, when was that? Help, Kamigawa, yeah. No. Streets of New Capenna. We're close. We're so close. Streets of New Capenna. We've almost gone through everything and looked at every cycle. This is going to be a whole bunch of multicolored stuff. Yep, these are all 5 colors and 3 colors and 3 colors and everything, the rest. I'm speeding up a little bit here because at 4 o'clock Vince goes live. Damn, As Foretold. I love As Foretold. Monastery Mentor. Yeah, the Snowy Mountain's a good one too, Latino Hot. It is a cozy mountain. We got a food chain. That's a great Concordant Crossroads. The World Enchantment is back. Amiel the Blessed. Bitter Blossom. Dockside Extortionist, the guy who was banned, but he shouldn't have been. Anyway, big value in this set, that's for sure. And then Unfinity, the trash set of fake cards that are gruesomely unfun to play with. But they gave us weird looking lands, so okay. Did you see Kosei yet? I don't know. Let me look it up. Kosei Patient Warlord. Oh yeah, I've seen this guy. Yeah, he's a Voltron if I've ever seen one. Yeah, it gave us Saw in Half, which is a good card. As far as which cards are legal in the set, I have no fucking clue. Because they decided not to do the silver border thing anymore. Bad decision. Dominaria United. We're uniting the Dominars. Give me the cycles. 3 color stuff. The Defiler cycle. Okay. This was a really weird, interesting cycle. It had things cost a colored mana less for 2 life. Sort of a really expository way of writing Phyrexian mana. Giving other things Phyrexian mana kinda in the safest, we're so afraid of making this ability too good kind of way. Anyway, Defiler in Dreams is good because you draw a card. Defiler Vigor, however, wins. Whenever you cast a green permanent spell, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. Yep, and it's a 6/6 trample for 5, and it makes your creatures cost less, colored less, which is excellent. Goes in a lot of green style decks, and not just ones that care about counters, although it also goes in those. Green winner. The big 20. Vodalian Hexcaster, I think, is a big deal for CEDH. Perhaps. Cool art. I don't into CEDH too much, so people have to tell me when things happen there. The Brothers' War. Sort of retreading the old ways. We got, let's see, various Urzas and Mishras that aren't complete. And now we got the commands. These are all choose 2, and then the stuff is conceivably good. You choose between 4 different things. They're all sorceries except for the blue one. Titania's command is probably the best one because it's the only one I've ever heard of. It searches for any 2 lands, as in like the prime time effect, right? And then some other shit, including exiling a graveyard, which is kind of good. She's a big deal for Merfolk decks too. Oh yeah, true, because it turns everything into a curse catcher. I think she's probably worth giving blue a dub for then. Yeah, we got Mario and Luigi throwing hands. Lugui. So I'll give blue a win for that. So I don't have to keep updating these. I'll just say how much off of the total it is, alright? That's more efficient. Anyway, Titania's command shits on the other ones. Searches for any 2 lands. It's a sorcery. Primeval Titan. Green W. Now you have do a thing for each land of a type you control. Cycle. So exile target creature with mana value less than or equal number of planes you control. Its controller gains 3 life. It's kind of like the worst Swords to Plowshares you've ever seen. Also a sorcery. Pathetic. Flow of Knowledge is hilarious in a mono blue deck. Pay 5 at instant speed to draw like 11. Okay. That's hilarious. This is technically a continuation of the corrupt cycle. And I remember Blanchwood Armor. John Blanchwood Armor. Creature gets 1/1 for each forest you control. The art used to be really gross and weird in the original thing this is from. And I don't remember this card. This might be the new one. Because Flow of Ideas, or Flow of Knowledge is old, and Corrupt is super old. Realistically, I don't think anyone's playing any of these, but the chances are highest for probably Corrupt, even though it's not good. Ish? I don't know. Ravenous Cycle. Dude, Big Robo. I didn't know. I've never seen these before, these lands. Reminds me, this one particularly reminds me of Nier Automata. Of giant decaying mecha from hundreds of years ago that nature is starting to grow around. All of these are cool. This is cool. Giant Robo amid, you get the old meets new. I don't know, it's cool. And this one's very Pacific Rim, right? Neat. I didn't know those existed. Dominaria Remastered, which is probably reprints. It has no cycles. Yep. A bunch of reprints. Nantuko Shade, dude, that dude is so sick. Sulfuric Vortex, the classics. Anyway. Phyrexia, all will be Juan. What do we got here? Oh, the completed Planeswalkers, which I really don't like. Way too much text. Too much text. I'm sorry, but I don't care. That Saruwe meme. And unfortunately, I think they're balanced pretty well. Because if you cast them for cheap, they suck. But I haven't read them too much. I'm sure one of these was good and constructed or something. I don't know. Nissa's busted in standard. All right, figures. Figures one of them was. Ooh, oh, finally an interesting cycle. The Phyrexian Horrors, the Dominus. These all do something really good. They double something. And then you can pay something to make them indestructible forever as long as you sacrifice 2 something or 3 something. This is a cool cycle. Mondrak. It doubles tokens. Token decks are probably stronger than the type of decks that the other ones would be using, right? Mondrak is really good and can be indestructible and is a good cost and size, cost 4. Mondrak really good. Tekethal, I don't think Proliferate decks are actually that good, but it obviously works very well. Proliferate twice. It has flying, which is good, a big butt. Drivnod, you can play this in, I guess you could put this in Aristocrats, but Aristocrats are usually pretty low to the ground. All their spells are very efficiently costed, and 5 isn't exactly something that I'm trying to pay. And very importantly, the cost I'm paying to put the indestructible counter on him, I almost never want to get rid of creatures from my graveyard, especially in an Aristocrats deck. So I think Drivnod is the worst, maybe. Soulfim. If a source you control would deal non-combat damage to an opponent or a permanent they control, deals double. That's really good. It is only non-combat damage, but he's meant to be a commander, so you play him in that. I definitely never want to discard 2 cards, especially in a red deck, but I don't know, maybe you fucking have to. And he blasts, right? And then Zope Dopendrel, okay? The Dopendrel. He is a card that you would not put in a deck, but if you do, and he lands on the battlefield, your opponents suddenly feel the effect of that. He's very impactful. He has reach. He doubles the power and toughness of all of your guys every combat, including your opponents. Give him indestructible. He's hard to get rid of. If you're playing some enchantment that doubles power and toughness, take it out and put him in instead, and it's basically the same thing except you get a creature. I think Zopendrel is very underrated. What do we think from chat? I'm thinking Mondrak probably. Mondrak and Slop Zop are in a dead heat, you think? I think it's Mondrak. Look, Slopendrel, Dopendrel, he's good. And Sophim is good for red, I guess. But discarding 2 cards is too brutal here. Sacrificing creatures is easy. Sacrificing artifacts and or creatures is easy. I think the token doubling is just too good. Zope is really good, but I think he's second place. White gets their W number 6 after 33 years of Magic. Hey, all right, they did it. He did it. All right, and then we got the Sun's Twilight cycle, which is the opposite of the Sun Zenith cycle from before. Remember Green Sun Zenith and how great that was? And so we're all expecting something really good. And all these cards are fucking garbage. They're so bad. It's an insult. I am insulted. They made Green Sun Zenith and they're like, ooh, we can't make them too good. And so they're fucking terrible. Holy. White Sun's Twilight is the best one. And it sucks. Very disappointed. Yo, this art's kind of good, though. The white one's the best. Nice planes. Nice planes. I see what you were doing with the black one, but I don't love it. I see what you were doing with it, though, the spider. Green one, boring. And then this stuff. Purple. Hey, anyway, good work. Phyrexia, all will be Juan. What about March of the Machines? Oh, yeah, the new... all right, so this is the old Praetors reprinted as new Praetors that flip into sagas. So we got Lashnorn, Jin Gitaxias, Sheoldred, Vorinclex, Urabrask. How does this one shape up? Well, it's Sheoldred. Vorinclex is actually quite strong if you flip him. It's just a whole lot to flip him. But I think Sheoldred wins this. Big mana blue draw cards is like something, whenever you cast an instant sorcery, it deals 1 damage to target opponent and add a red. Adding a red, whenever you cast an instant sorcery, you love to see it. Probably a good part in some sort of spell slinger, infinite, or engine thing, you know. Yeah, it's like a second Burgie, essentially. But Shield Dread just goes in everything. Very castable, very flippable. Her flip ends up being Rise of the Dark Realms to kind of win the game. Everybody's sacrificing permanents and discarding cards. Yeah, Shield Dread is the most like generically strong one for sure. And the most affordable. So Black W, I think. I think all of these are kind of underutilized, really. Well, maybe not all of these, but several of these. And then we got the team up. And this shit is so disappointing to me. Because each one of them does the thing I don't want them to do for each. Boring, doesn't do anything, exactly the opposite of how I wish these abilities were ordered. I wish it did the one thing instead of the other. And then Thalion the Gitrog monster is the ultimate stop attacking me and let me build my stupid castle commander. First strike death touch, 4/4 for 4, perfect blocker, play an additional land every turn, sometimes draws you cards. What the fuck? Unreasonably generically strong. The GOAT. I actually want to build a Thalion Gitrog monster deck. I just haven't found the right skeleton to put it in. Like, because the commander does everything I would ever want, almost. I just haven't figured out what to do with the colors. I don't know, we'll see. And everything else is multicolor. And also they invented battles, which was a huge mistake. And they're all trash. And you can't read them when you're online. And they suck. There's a lot of problems with them. I don't know, maybe it's something for Constructed or whatever. I wasn't playing Constructed at that time. So now, here we go. These apparently it doesn't have any cycles in here. It's just a few things. So, hey, there it is. I like this guy. I like this Karn. This is a wonderful Karn for artifact decks. My man. You wish Plibit and Boros was better? Yeah. Like, drawing a card when he enters, like, great. Good work. But then his ability is put himself on the top. Who the fuck would ever want to do that? I know that's what Plibit does, or Fibblethip. But, damn. That wasn't it. Very sad. Because it's almost the funniest combination, Plibit and Borborygmos. Like, this is the funniest combo. And then it doesn't do anything. I guess that maybe that's part of the humor is how awful it is. But, yeah, very disappointing. Wild Drain. Here we got the Virtues, the Adventure Enchantments. I really like these. I like this cycle. Not you. But, like, in a 1/1 counter deck, this is actually quite nice, right? It also untaps those creatures. Super good. Virtue of Knowledge. Copy target activated or triggered ability you control. You crack a fetch land. You get 2 lands from it. And then you play Virtue of Knowledge for only 5. It's a Panharmonicon. Super good. Virtue of Persistence. You kill some early utility creature. And then later on, you get a... what's it called? Portal to Phyrexia effect every upkeep forever from any graveyard. It's so good. Love Virtue of Persistence. Virtue of Courage kills a slightly weaker early utility creature. And then it becomes you can exile half your library thing, and I hate it. And then Virtue of Strength returns a creature or land from your graveyard to your hand. This can be like vaguely useful sometimes. You get a fetch land back if you didn't top deck a land or something. And then later on, you can tap a basic land for mana. It produces triple, which is super strong. But then you have to be playing basic lands. Basic lands are for losers, so it sucks. Virtue of Persistence probably wins, but Virtue of Knowledge is really good, and Virtue of Loyalty is really good in the type of deck that it would be in for. I actually don't know which one is better, Knowledge or Persistence. They're both really good. Sadly, I think it's a tie. We've robbed both blue and black from perhaps a deserved win here because they're both so good. And Virtue less so, but it's really good in the type of deck that wants that. And Virtuous Strength is good in an all-basic land deck. Gross. And then the red one sucks. And these are the two-color adventure people. A bunch of two-color stuff. Some sagas. All right. Wilds of Eldraine. Now we're up to the Lost Caverns of Ixalan. And the only thing I remember from this is that it made another 50 dinosaurs that are overpowered, and the special treatment for the cool-looking cards in this set was so ugly that it has the price for them as the same or less than the normal card. Just how bad they look. Very sad. Okay, the legendary god cycle that turn into land if they die, I really like that. I like these guys as a concept. Osier Tak, triple tokens. Jesus Christ, how much do you have to push tokens? But hey, all right. It's really fucking good. Whenever you cast an instant from your hand, it gains rebound. A certain type of deck would really like that. Arcatraz, Deepest Betrayal, is... Yeah, he's good, I guess, ish. You make bats. He does have to swing to matter, but still, like he's fine. Osier Axonil can really start blasting. Makes a fine commander, I suppose. He's a blaster for red decks, and then the green one is super good as well. Being able to grab things from your library, creatures and lands, and just slap them out as long as you're trampling over stuff. Osier Kaslim is really good too. All of these are really good. Ish. The most powerful one is white. The most played one, if I had to guess, would be the red one. Because it's the only one you would ever want as a commander. So yeah, this is going to be like, it's like a big old tie. Yeah, and they all have the best ability, which is become a land, which is good. Yeah, the white one is strongest. The red's probably the most played. The green one is a great engine. The black one is okay. Yeah, no, I don't think there's a clear winner here. If we're going on power level, it's white. If we're going on play, it's Osier. But yeah, kind of a tie, which is too bad because white and red need some W's, and they've canceled each other out on this one. Get fucked. And we have the Discover lands, which I would like, but they enter tapped, and so you can't play them. Because that's the rule. Ravnica Remaster, we're closing in on the end. No cycles. Oh, because it's remastered. Yeah, fair enough. Murders at Karlov Manor. This set fucking sucked. A clue theme was stupid, and everything being clue tokens instead of card draw on cards that power level wise should have been draw cards instead of make clue tokens was dumb and lame and weak. Collect evidence was an annoying mechanic that sucks. What an awful set. Based on a board game, Hasbro ass shit. However, there are these cases, and these cases are a lot better than people give them credit for. They're good. The green one is the best, for sure. So green gets a W here. So they do the top thing, and then if some condition has been met, they gain the bottom thing as well. And usually the thing is pretty easy. You gain 5 life this turn, whatever. You control no suspected skeletons. Yeah, okay, easy. Some of them are less easy. You have no cards in hand. But the case of the Locked Whorehouse, which is my favorite, you control 7 or more lands, which means you unlock this, you solve this by playing Commander. And then you can play off the top. It's super sick. The blue one is super strong as well. It's a little tough to solve. But whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, draw a card, ridiculous. And Case of the Uneaten Feast is even good. If you once it's solved, you can sack this, and creatures in your graveyard. I mean, you just Yogg Will for creatures one turn. Like these are good cards. I just think the green one is the one. All right, we got the little murder utensils. They're all bad. And then a bunch of Where's Waldo looking ass stuff here. Outlaws of Thunder Junction, another one of the worst sets ever. What if everyone was just cowboys? Completely stupid. Really phoned in, not thought through. Just give everyone hats, the set. Super, super lame. And I can't switch because the website here is broken. But don't worry, nothing of value was printed here anyway. Some of the cards were cool and some of the mechanics were cool. It was just like the laziest set. What if everything was all in the same place and they all had cowboy hats? It was so dumb. But, you know, hey, all right. I liked Insatiable Avarice. Key to the Vault is super sick. I don't know. There's a bunch of good cards in here. Final Showdown. A reprint for Terra, the Peaks. Anyway, all that stuff is sick. Bloomborough, I love this set. They followed up two stinkers, kinda, with a really wonderful set. This is like back to an original IP, back to Magic the Gathering. Look at how creative and fun this is. Man, I wish this is what Magic always was, instead of 5 Burger King sets and then every once in a while a Magic one again, but whatever. Legendary Mythic Creatures cycle. Bees is pretty good. L Huge is funny to say and good art. Maha is very strong. With that creatures your opponents control have base toughness 1. Put a Knight of Souls Betrayal out, or there's all sorts of stuff you can do with Maha. Maha is very good. Lumra is crazy strong in the right type of deck. Pay 6, acquire 20 landfall triggers. Like it's very good. And then she's massive and also has reach, so very good defensively as well. You remember they wanted to do the second small box set with Jailbreak and then got feedback that Aftermath was actually hated and was detrimental to their dollar. Yeah. I think this is a tie. Maha and Lumra are tied. They're both really good. Bees is decent too. L Huge is funny to say. We got the seasons that give you 5 paw prints worth of stuff, and you can spend those as you wish. They're all mythic. Exile target non-land permanent. Its controller draws a card. Big downside, but like a strong effect. You can exile 2 things. Any non-land permanent, that's kind of good. You can make Wabbits. You can do the Sun Titan effect. Season of Weaving is strong. You can just straight up draw 5 if you want, which for 6 is a decent rate-ish, although it's sorcery speed. You can make copies of stuff, which is very strong. You can bounce everything except for tokens, so you can make a token first and then bounce everything else. Season of Weaving is good. Season of Loss is good. Everybody sacks 5 creatures, or you could draw cards or lose life. All these are good so far. Choose up to 5 paw. Create 5 tapped treasure tokens. Damn, I really wish they weren't tapped. That kind of ruins it for me. Exile cards until your next turn you can play them. I hate that effect. Until your next turn, whenever you cast a spell, it does 2 damage to up to 1 target creature. Okay, so the red one sucks. And then the green one, put 1 counter on a creature you control against defeated on the trample until end of turn. Destroy an artifact or enchantment. Oh, sorry. All artifacts or enchantments, super good. Super strong. And then draw cards equal to the greatest power. Yeah, awesome. Probably, I don't know. The green one is probably the best one. The red is definitely the worst. I don't see people play this thing. I I guess people play a lot of these, but I think the green is best. We have funny otters. Valley Flood Caller is the best. The funny otter guy. Flash, you may cast non-creature spells, though they have flash. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, or birds, or frogs, or otters, or rats, they get 1/1, and then you untap them, which can be, you can do a combo with. It's a blue dub. We're in the 20s. The talents. Caretakers is really good in token decks. Storm Chaser returns something to your hand that's kind of nice. Innkeeper's Talent. Yeah, I think these are like tied. Some of these. Bandit's good. Hunter is good. Not you. Man, look at how fantastic these lands are. Like the little man, the little people exploring. I like the snow-covered ones probably the most. Look at how fun they are. And then we have Duskmorn, another trash set of garbage from real-life, present-day movies. What a clash of themes. Thanks, I hate it. Absolutely disgusting. The Overlord cycle. Yeah, this is just the green one, right? It's just that easy. The green one makes an everywhere land. That's every basic land type. It can cost 3, which is the rate for getting an extra land on a creature. 5 isn't so bad. Yeah, like maybe the white one kinda, but not for 7. Yeah, Overlord of Huntwoods, another green W. I have 12 minutes to finish the rest of these. Am I gonna have to turn my neck? Am I gonna have to give myself taco neck over here to read this shit? I hate these. I hate the sideways stuff. Anyway, the green one's the best because it gives you Yawgmoth's Will and it lets you Crucible Worlds. Hey, alright. I love the Enduring Cycle. I like these a lot. These are fun. They're creatures that do something, and then when they die, they come back as non-creature enchantments that still do the thing. Awesome. Like, really cool. Enduring Courage is probably the best, because it's just the stickiest haste effect you can get. But then again, Enduring Tenacity is half of an infinite combo, which you have to remove twice. And Enduring Curiosity is a great effect in a go wide or like a flyer. There's a certain type of deck that wants to draw cards when it deals combat damage to a player all the time. Even Enduring Innocence can draw you cards, although only once per turn, but it's still like pretty useful. And the green one is, I don't even think the green one is the worst because creatures you control have tap is great for tokens and stuff. All of these are great for different reasons. They're all great. What a home run. I don't know that there's a best one. What a huge success story. You're so rare, but it's great to see. And now we got new ley lines. Well, not new ley lines. We've reprinted Leyline of the Void for the 5th time instead of come up with a new one. Again. I don't know if any of them are noteworthy. Hey, all right. Transformation is the best if you're trying to force a tribe on something that isn't quite a tribe. Maybe in a feather deck if you're concerned about feather always dying. I don't know. Anyway, I'm sad about Duskmourn because I like a lot of the mechanics. It's just the aesthetics is so gross. It's the type of aesthetic that I would expect from a disgusting IP slop set, except it was in a real Magic set, which is depressing. We got reprints, foundations. Yep, reprints. Some of these weren't reprints, though. Is this a cycle? I mean, kinda. These are new, these guys. Technically, it doesn't say that they're cycles. They just organized it by color, and these are just happen to be the mythic rare creatures in each color. Not sure what this thing does, but Bloodthirsty Conqueror is probably the standout here. Half of an infinite combo. Really, really quality cost. Power toughness, flying death touch just does it. He's the guy. I really like Rite of the Dragon Colors. It spells fun, but I don't think it's part of a cycle. Anyway, he's fun. Loot's good. I just hate the character. League of Legends ass. Plushy ass. Garbage cartoon shit. Blasphemous Edict, finally. Can't wait. Can't wait for the blue one. It's like kind of a cycle, right? Blasphemous Act, Blasphemous Edict, and the white one for 2 white. And so we're waiting for a green one and a blue one for Wrath of Gods that cost 1 or 2 sometimes. That's going to be a good one. I like that cycle so far. I like all of them. The best one is Edict for sure. And the white one is the worst because it costs 2 instead of 1. But and now we're on to Aether Drift, the last one. We did it. We did all of it. 5 hours. And I had a hard out at 4 for Warhammer Weekly, and we're 7 minutes away. Everything's turning up Millhouse. And this set has a whole bunch of 2 mana cards with horrible mechanics for the most part. So I get to skip all of them. Exhaust sucks. Speed sucks. It's actually slow, which is funny. Anyway, the Gearhawks. Which is the best Gearhawk? Probably Bright Glass. Yeah. Bright Glass is probably the best Gearhawk, I think. Searches for up to 2 artifacts or creatures and or equipment that cost 1 or less. It's such a wide spread. It's sort of like a super ranger of EOS or whatever it's called. Yeah, Bright Glass, super good. This one's like okay, but they can draw it back into those cards, so I don't like it that much. Pyrewood Gearhulk is like so he's sort of like Craterhoof, except 7 billion times worse, but damage can't be prevented, so you can potentially kill people that try to Teferi's protection. So I don't, maybe it's like a thing, I'm not sure. Probably not. Vigilance and Menace are also really good. I don't know. It's like potentially an option. If you're in a pool and all of your friends play white decks, and every time you try to win, they're like, Teferi's protection. Well, maybe you play this thing instead of Craterhoof. I don't know. We got legendary creatures. Oh yeah, these are horrible. Yeah, and then a bunch of like 9/7s for 5 with no abilities. Man, remember when we were looking at 2 4s for 6 when we were around Legends? How times have changed. Oh yeah, the yellow Trans Am from Redline card border. Gross. Slap it in a Dino deck. I mean, you maybe slap it in. It depends on your local, right? But if there's a lot of Teferi's protections and fogs and stuff going around, you could slap this into a lot of stuff and just be like, nope, fuck you. You die. 3 mana cost. I'm safe from everything. You know, the One Ring looking ass stuff. Just kill them, right? Just get them. So there's Dungeons and Dragons, Battle for Baldur's Gate, 40K, Doctor Who. There's a bunch of IP, Fallout, ugh, Assassin's Creed, disgusting. So there's a bunch of other stuff, right? Which I would get to, but we've run out of time. Let's check the notes, okay? Clear winners in cycles that quote-unquote matter. And I've been kind here. As far as cycles, white, 6 in all of Magic. Red, 11. Blue, 20. Black, 15. Green, 25. Now, this is with commander-leaning judgments, right? But we started this wondering, man, red is always the worst in some set. Now, we didn't really answer that question, remember. We weren't looking for the worst, we were looking for the best. If we redid all this looking to see which color was the worst of every set, definitively, then, you know, maybe it would line up. Who knows? We'll have to do this again sometime. But white is actually more often, or white is least often the best of any cycle. And it's actually not close. Very definitively not. And green is generally the best of any particular cycle, but blue's kind of close. And then there's black and red and white. And there it is, the 5-hour Magic stream. 3 minutes to go. I encourage all my viewers to go watch Warhammer Weekly now because it's starting in about 3 minutes. So 2 minutes now. The clock just changed. So I'm going to get some big lunch and go ahead and tune in to Vince Venturella Warhammer Weekly on YouTube. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Did I say tomorrow? That's a Thursday. I don't usually stream tomorrow. Well, guess what?